Hey everybody, Gabe Jenkins back with you. I want to just talk to you about drawing number, what are we on here? Drawing number 11. And as you can see, as we're getting more and more into these things, we're getting more and more and more kind of like complicated in terms of what we have to do in terms of construction lines in order for us to like locate exactly where we want different elements to be in our drawing. So it's no longer a case of just like, okay, I'm going to make a circle and then the line comes off of it. But you really do need to start thinking about being strategic in terms of creating a more complex drawing. And sometimes you're going to need to use a lot of construction lines to just help you start to figure out where to place things and how to make connections between different elements of your drawing. So I'm going to just talk to you strategically about how I thought about this and maybe kind of give you a couple of, I don't know, maybe helpful hints. And again, I'm going to preface this by saying this is just how my brain saw it, and it might not be the best way. It's just how my brain saw it. And so I'm going to tell you how I thought about it, and you can take it or leave it. But if you're stuck and you want to, like, stuck in terms of thinking about it and breaking it down and analyzing the complexity of the shape, please watch it and just see if it makes sense to you too. All right, so let's start. So I saw this picture very often when I see a picture and I see something that looks like it's symmetrical around a circle shape, or even if part of the whole thing is symmetric around a circle. I tend to make that my origin. So I started off with this point right here in the center of the circle stuff. I started with that as my origin, and I started by making a circle, and then I made a bigger circle, and then I made an additional circle. So the first circle I made was the small one with a diameter of 100, and the next one was the kind of outside one here, which was not super obvious right away because it doesn't give you the diameter measure. What it does tell you is that the distance from the outer circle to the inner circle is 14. So if you do the math, you can start to figure it out. So the radius of the inner circle is 50, and so 50 plus 14 would give you 64. So whatever, you can figure that out. All right, so I did the inner circle and then the outer circle. Then I made a construction circle. I put this on the construction layer with a radius of 60. And that was going to be, I put that there just so I could start to locate where the center points, how far away from the origin the center points of all these four circles was going to be, right? So I knew it had to be this far out. I knew it had to be, the center points of these four circles had to be 60 units out from my origin. But where I was going to place them depended upon another construction line I drew. So I took that origin and I drew a 45-degree angle coming up from the horizontal, 45-degree angle up from the origin, and the place where that line intersected with my construction circle that I had just drawn, that formed the center point of that circle right here, and then the outer circle here. You can then mirror it over and then mirror them both down, and then trim away a bunch of unwanted lines, and you end up with that kind of geometry right there. Now, from that point on, there's a lot of construction lines that had to be drawn, okay? Because I wanted to start to construct all of this stuff over here, and I thought, well, maybe a good starting place would be to figure out where the center point of that circle is. So I drew a line that went just straight up. Didn't matter how far up it was. I went over 170, right? So I knew that the center point of this circle was exactly 170 units to the right of my origin. I then drew a line and I went down by 95. And then over by as far as I had to go, and then I went up 55, okay? So I went down 95 just to start to get this level right here, and then up from here, I went 55 because it told me that the center point is 55 up from the bottom point of my circle, of my shape down here. So I then drew a line straight down, and so this is 55 up from the bottom and 170 over from the origin. And so that's the center point of this little circle and that medium-sized circle. All right, so now I had those drawn. I drew a line straight left from the lower quadrant. I had my quadrant snapped on, and so I drew a line left over here, okay? And I then offset it up. So I was trying to find where the center point of this circle is. So I drew a line left, offset it up 38, right? I drew a line straight up here and offset it 62 over, and so that intersection of those 2 points provided me with the center point of that circle. From here on, there's a lot of kind of like measuring of lines. This is the right side of this quadrant here that goes straight down. You can figure out the rest of the stuff. The one other tricky thing is right in here, I noticed that the radius of this arc right here was 25, but it goes over 28 over from the center point of my kind of circles up here. So what that meant was that it doesn't actually, the arc doesn't start right here. It actually must start 3 units over to the right of the bottom of that circle right here. So 3 units over, then there's a 25 unit radius arc. And then I had to draw a straight line down to the bottom line over here. That's about it. All the fillets are 5 units. If you want to see, I'm going to show you real quick what my AutoCAD drawing looks like. So, right, so this is the finished thing. And so I'm just going to that's all my dimensions and that's all the object lines and the visible lines, whatever. But I want to show you, if I just turn off my dimensions real quick, just so you can start to see it, and then I turn off the visible lines. This is the amount of construction lines that I had to draw just to begin to place things. And so I just want you to know, you're going to have to get used to drawing more and more construction lines just so you can see where to place things. This is the first time we kind of had to, maybe not the first time, but this is the one where I kind of decided to highlight this, this aspect of drawing in CAD. Construction lines are your friend. And so you can use them to identify where to put circles or other elements of your drawing so that the geometry is correct and you can start to match up all the dimensions, etc. Speaking of dimensions and the visible lines, we go back to our final drawing and that's it. One more thing to figure out, I guess the last thing, they don't really tell you in the drawing where this thing, where this line right here, where this connects up here. I figure it's tangent. We know how to make a line tangent to a circle with the shift and right click. But it doesn't tell us where to connect it over here. What I ended up doing was I ended up connecting it to the rightmost quadrant of that inner circle. And again, I'm not really sure if that's right or wrong, but that's just kind of where it looked best to me. And I know that some of you were struggling trying to figure out a place to connect that made sense. That's where I ended up connecting it, and I hope that that worked for you. All right, everybody, good luck with drawing number 11, and I hope you get it done, and I hope it's fun for you. All right, everybody, have a great day.